Welcome back if you're returning. Today is part one of my Victorian inspired Halloween. This is a very Dickensian Gothic look that I'm going for. In this part one I've got a couple of crafts that I'll use around the house to achieve the look. I think Great Expectations or Bleak House or Oliver Twist, and then I'm going to follow this up next week with a few more, followed by my Halloween house tour after Thanksgiving. Don't forget to subscribe and give me the thumbs up if you enjoy my content, and let's get started. So the first thing I'm going to make are wall sconces. The black hands, the skeleton hands, are from Dollar Tree and they are salad tongs. I'm going to be cutting those down. I'm just going to use a regular little hand saw. All I need is the hands. I've sprayed the hands gold, and I'm going to take the mirror part out of these little frames, and then this is the backing sheet, and then I have like a piece of cardboard that is the backing for the actual picture frame. So I'm folding this sheet in half, and this is going to be my template to mark where I want the hand to be positioned. So it's folded in half, and then I'm going to take a pen and mark roughly where I want the hand to be, and then I'm going to transfer this marking onto the backing pieces, and then I'm going to take a hand drill with quite a small drill bit in it, and I'm going to drill through the backing and into the hands, so that once it's all finished and put together, I just screw it all together and it will hold the hand in place. So this is you can see I've just taken the end. It's just plastic, so it drills very, very easily. You can see that went in quite easily. You don't want the hole to be too big because we just want a little screw that's going to go in the back of the picture frame and just hold these little hands in place. The next thing I'm going to do is transfer those holes onto the backing, and then I'm going to drill through the backing, and then I'm going to silver leaf them. So you've seen me do this many times before. This is the silver leaf adhesive, and you just want to give one thin coat, and then you want to wait until it is probably 10 to 15 minutes until it is tacky, it goes clear, and then you're ready to place your silver leaf or gold leaf on top. So it's just assembly time now. So as you can see, I've just taken some hot glue and I'm going to attach my silver piece, which is my mirror. That's what I'm using it as a reflective surface for the lamp. That's just glued into place, and then because these don't have any hangers on the back, I'm just going to be gluing a little hook on from one of those sets that you get from the hardware store. So it's like a little just like a little fish hook type of thing, and it just attaches to the wall. So these are glued on in place. Once these are in place, then we're going to attach the little hooks, and then I'm going to screw a screw from the back through the backing piece, which is the silver, directly into the hand, and the job's finished. I will show the completed craft at the end of the video. This is my Halloween clock. I'd had a clock face left over from the craft that I did before, part of my first Halloween video, which was the fairy cabinet. And I wanted to use this clock face, and I'd got bits of skeleton and one thing's another out of my stash and my Halloween box. And I really wanted to make a clock. I tried to come up with an idea, and a couple of different ideas I was thinking of. Nothing really worked out, and then I found this birdhouse. I think it was $2. I thrifted this a little while ago. So it was the right kind of shape, and it was the right kind of look that I was going for, and it was the right size. So as you can see, I painted it all with 2 coats of black chalk paint, obviously making sure to get in all the little nooks and crannies. I then grabbed a couple of the little skeletons from my stash, painted them up with the black chalk paint, making sure to do the same, getting all those little nooks and crannies. So the next thing to do was position the things where I wanted them in place. So I had a skeleton on 2 sides. This is the clock face that I took off the original clock. I broke off the little bird perch. I also stuck 2 skeleton hands on as the clock hands, and then this was another little skeleton head that came off another bigger skeleton. I just notched it out so it could fit on the peak of the birdhouse. I also had some little bones and some little extra pieces, some hands and things that I've cut off and used from other little projects, and I'm just going to stick them all down and then give everything another coat of the black chalk paint. So as with my other crafts, I don't really want to pick up anything new or from a store other than dollar store or thrifted. So I'm using what I've got to embellish the clock. All the little embellishments are on. It's painted black. All I'm going to do now is take a little bit of gold rub and buff and just touch the high points. I also found a couple of ideas for legs. The one that I went with was the 4 stands from the battery operated candles that you pick up. I bought a set a little while ago. I used the candle but not the stand, so I painted them black and stuck them to the bottom of the clock. This was a final little touch that I wanted to add. There's a couple of spaces on the clock that I would have liked some filigree or some little, Gothic details, something more Victorian, but I found this old necklace that I had in one of my displays and just thought I'd paint it black and add it in, just to add to that look. Stay tuned for the end for the big reveal of all the projects I'm making today. This next project, I've thrifted one of these for 50 cents. I also thrifted the base for 50 cents. I got 2 of these little wooden bases. I've had a couple of these in my stash. Over the years I've picked them up. I think you can still get these from the dollar store for a couple of dollars, but they're very plastic. They just don't look good. So the idea was to make a Gothic inspired candle holder. And so what I'm going to do is painting the base, the wooden base, sticking the crow to it, and then I'm going to cut a little hole in the top of the crow and insert a candle. So all I did was roughly get the size of the hole that I needed and then just use these little snippers. Because it's plastic, it cuts really easily. And this is the candle that I'm sort of using as my template. So I can see that it fits, so it's on to the next step, which is spraying both of the birds gold. So the gold spray that I used was very bright, so I wanted to tone it down and make it look a little bit older, a little bit more used, more vintage. So I got a very damp cloth and just dabbed on some black acrylic paint. I don't think I used the chalk paint, I used the acrylic, and then just rubbed it on and rubbed it off all over the bird. And what it does, it takes the shine off it, and then all the little dense indentations get filled with the black paint, and it just gives it more of a vintage appearance. So I hot glued the crow to the base and then just gave the base a quick coat of the gloss Mod Podge. I needed just to finish off the hole, so I just had this beaded ribbon and I just glued that down and gave it a quick coat of a gold paint, just so that it held the candle in place and it finished the edge. I knew when I got this little tray it would be perfect to make a little Ouija board, and Ouija boards were very popular during Victorian times because they were all very into spiritualism and getting in touch with the dead. This is just a little, like, it's a smaller tray, it's not very big, so I found this print on the internet and just sized it to fit the inside of the tray. I then got some matte decoupage and then just placed it in and decoupaged it. I picked up this little cauldron a few months ago, knowing that I wanted to use it to make the appearance of a bubbling cauldron. So I had this plastic glass it's a plastic wine glass from the dollar store. I just grabbed it out the cupboard. I marked where the rim of the cauldron came to and decided to take these little glass marbles and glue them directly to this glass, so that it would look like the bubbles of a cauldron. And then I'm going to insert lights up inside the glass and turn it on. This last little craft was a ceramic lady on a bench. I think it was 50 cents. It might even have been 25 cents. The hands were broken, but I thought, as soon as I saw her, I thought she would make the perfect witch. So with just the black chalk paint, I just covered her whole body in black paint. I even painted her hair. Made the witch's hat out of a piece of brown Bristol board. I didn't have black, unfortunately, so I had to use the brown, and then I painted it with the black chalk paint. I did sort of scrunch up the paper a little bit and filled it with tissue so that once I'd finished the hat I could bend it and make it look more realistic. I had picked up a little pair of plastic earrings for $1, and I've used those to stick to one of her hands. And then I got a little piece of stick from the backyard with some little pieces of rope and just glued them to the end of the stick, wrapped it up and made her witch's broomstick. I love how these sconces have turned out. I would make these again, but I would make the frames bigger. I just think they look really great. The candles are part of a thrift haul that I had probably a few months now. They're remote control, so I only put one candle in place just to show you what one they look like with the candle and without. I'm also really pleased with how these crows turned out. I think I might actually use these year round. I don't think they look great for Halloween, but I think it's something that I could absolutely use in the library. I'm very happy with how the clock turned out. It's funny when you get a certain idea in your mind and you imagine how it will be. This actually turned out better than I thought it would be. And this is all literally just junk, stuff that I've had around the house, even the candlesticks. These are the base for those little candlesticks you can get from the dollar store. I'd got a whole bunch in a thrift haul at one point. They were gold. I just painted them with the black paint and then rubbed off a little bit of the black paint to reveal the gold underneath. So most of the things that I made this week were definitely in line with my Victorian inspired Halloween. The rest, the other three little things were just sort of incidental. The little witch was just something that I picked up, and I knew I wanted to see if I could make a little witch out of the ceramic. I've seen it done on Pinterest a lot, so I wanted to try that. But there will be at least one more video which will have more of the Victorian inspired Halloween decor, and then in a couple of weeks after Thanksgiving in Canada I will be doing my proper Halloween house tour. I just noticed how unique this Ouija board is. It's hello and goog bye. Not goodbye, goog bye. Good one. Well, thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this part 1 of my Victorian Halloween. Look out for part 2 next week, and if you've enjoyed it, don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. We'll see you soon.